Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host of today's episode. And on the show today, I have Eric Dunn, CEO of Golf Ball Monkey, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he's faced to give you an inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Eric. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, before we dive into all things business, let's share a little bit about you with our audience. So feel free to give us a quick brief on who you are and what you do.
Very good. I'm the part owner, co-owner of Golf Ball Monkey LLC. We've been in business for the last 10 years. We opened up this business in April of 2015 and been going strong ever since then. Prior to that, I've had a long career at a high IT company here in the Austin area, and I left there after 35 years. And so as I left there, this was a natural shoe-in for me, and this gives me a second life. So it's a very interesting second life, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, well, I'm excited. I love to hear that. I think that is such an inspiring start to the conversation, that you went and pursued what you did. So, or what you want to do. Prior to that, so you were in IT for 35 years. Looking at that experience, was there anything in that that helped set you up for success as a business owner today?
Oh, absolutely. 35 years as a IT leader, leading a international group of individuals. And that set me up really well, not only from a business standpoint, understanding how to run a business, but how to work with people internationally. Golf Ball Monkey is an international company, and I have resources across the globe working this. So this has helped me move this particular business forward in that regard. But no, a lot of experiences that you draw upon. You draw upon experiences that hiring, recruiting. You learn, from accounting, finance, inventory management. You learn about it all, right? So it's just that has helped me apply those type of experiences and skills to moving this company forward. And as I said, we've been in business for 10 years, and we'll probably be going strong for another 10 years. We're on a fairly good trajectory. It's just a matter of having fun at this point in time.
Well, that is the truth. Now, I'm excited to learn about Golf Ball Monkey and what you do there. It sounds like a fun company. So kind of give me what's the scope of what you do at Golf Ball Monkey?
Golf Ball Monkey is a end-to-end recycling center for golf balls. So basically what we do here is we buy, we sell, we harvest golf balls from courses all across the United States. I have teams of individuals that are in the United States that are working across multiple golf courses. I have a fairly large network here in the Texas area, pulling in golf balls from Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, the Austin area, and so on. So at any given time, right, balls are coming in from multiple areas in the country. We're pulling them in, we're sorting them, we're cleaning them, we're grading them, and we're packaging them up to ship them out. We're on multiple e-commerce platforms. And every year it grows. Every year there's a new platform or there's a new channel that we're working on, and it has consistently grown over the years. But we're in that business. We're a premium used recycling center for golf balls. Now, golf is a happening space, especially during the COVID period of time. We saw more activity during COVID, more golfers, and so on. But with the price of golf nowadays and the price of golf balls, everyone is turning to a recycled golf ball. It just makes economical sense, and we continue to see growth in this area, and I think we'll continue to see growth going forward, especially with tariffs kicking in and the price of golf balls going up.
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm excited to learn more about what you're doing, especially your role. Now, you said you had is it a co-founder? So you have a partner in the business?
I do have a partner in the business, my son. Uh,
Oh, I like that. It's kind of a family business. I
It's a
like
family
that.
business. Yeah, my son and I are in this business together. He also has multiple businesses, so he works this anywhere between 10 to 30% a week. I'm here daily working it, but my son is co-owner with me in this, and we've been doing this, like I said, for 10 years. And this is a type of business that we continuously try to grow each year, but we grow it in the spirit of having fun and making sure that this is something we enjoy to do and it's not really work. So there you go. So that's my partner. My son's my partner.
That's super fun. And looking at kind of like your day-to-day as co-owner, what are some of the responsibilities you have in the business?
So, so as a co-owner, your responsibilities vary, but they stem from everything from sweeping the floor to actually running the business financially, paying the resources, paying your employees, um, bringing in inventory, setting up new channels, working with social media people, working with um, distributors who want to take your product to, physical storefronts and things like that. So I'm a relationship manager. I'm an executive of the company. But it varies every day. It's a different experience. But on a routine day, I'm working 5 hours a day and in the shop, working with customers, working with the team, making sure that we have product ready to go out the door as orders come in. So it's an interesting job, um, but it's also fun. It's a fun job because you get to work with all sorts of people across the United States. You get customers calling in, you got people calling and asking for orders and so on. So you meet a lot of different and interesting people in this job.
Oh, definitely. Now, are you working primarily, would you say like B2B or B2C, or are you working with both?
It's both, but predominantly B2C. When we started this business, we were a predominantly a B2B. It was easier to do B2B in the startup mode. So we started out working out of a garage. So we did that for 5 years. And in order to make that a success, it was more of a B2B.
Mhm.
We were selling to other large e-commerce retailers that were already established, that had a client base and so on. So what we would do is we would get the product coming in. We would package the product up and we would send it off to another business who would then sell to the consumer. Now, over the last 3 years, we've moved away from that model. We've become more B2C. And B2C is more stable. It provides us an opportunity to grow our revenue accordingly based upon how much we want to put into it, and how many channels we want to have. So today I'm predominantly 95% B2C, 5% B2B. Now I do anticipate the B2B to grow a little bit more as we move into the physical storefront, because there's a lot of different stores out there. So I'm going to have a distributor that we work with. And so we'll be shipping products to the distributor who will then manage the different storefronts.
Okay. Now, do you currently have one storefront?
No, I have. So e-commerce wise, I'm probably on 10 different e-commerce platforms. So
Okay.
Amazon being the business, followed by Walmart, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Shopify, Sideline Swap, Etsy, and others. And my own website, golfballmonkey.com.
Okay. And you are sh planning to shift into a brick and mortar?
That's
Or
correct. We will be moving
oh,
into brick and mortar next year, and we're looking at moving into stores like TJ Maxx and Ross.
oh, wow. And then okay, I'm writing a couple notes. That's really epic. So how has it been? Like, what are some of the challenges you faced getting into a brick and mortar? Because that's a huge, exciting opportunity, but there's a lot that comes with that. So feel free to like elaborate on that.
Well, it's not as challenging as an e-commerce front, because in e-commerce you have to manage a lot more. So with
Mhm.
e-commerce, you have to manage the advertising, you have to manage the shipping and delivery, you have to manage if you're going, if you're shipping pallets into the let's say Amazon warehouse. You got to manage that entire set of activities, getting it in, following through, ensuring that the products are available, UPC codes are scanned, and so on. But when you go to a brick and a B2B, um, excuse me, yeah, business to business. What we're doing in that particular case, all we're doing is packaging the product, and then the distributor takes it from there. They do the advertising. There is no packaging and delivery. It's on a shelf. Somebody picks it up and they buy it, right? So it's a lot easier and a lot less overhead working with a storefront, a physical storefront, than an e-commerce. So in our expectation, it's going to be easier, but we do think that we will have a different type of clientele that we'll have to work with in that regard. The clientele on many of these e-commerce platforms, they're pretty savvy clientele, and there's a lot of different competitors that we work with. But when you're in a physical storefront, typically you're the only competitor if you're selling the type of product that I am. So we're looking to have a captured audience, and it will be a varied audience across North America.
Oh, wow. And what is have you like gotten a location nailed down, or are you building? Like, what does that look like for the actual brick and mortar store?
No, the brick and mortar, we would be going into an established retailer. So what
Okay.
I have here in the Austin area is I have a back end processing facility that processes the incoming golf balls. We will ship from here and we will go into an established retailer altogether. So there will be no retail front for Golf Ball Monkey. It will be more selling into an established retailing organization.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that for me, because that was I was like, oh wait. But okay, so you're gonna be moving into already established storefronts. And
Right.
now do you currently have employees that are helping with this process, or the employees more on the store side, or what does that look like for you?
So in my business, you have a large set of you have a large team that you're dealing with. Because so you have on the front side of it, you have the harvesting aspect, teams going out and getting the golf balls and so on. So those would be considered people that are divers, certified divers, and things like that. But you also have individuals that will what we would consider to be a person that would roll the course with a roller. They actually would roll the ponds and get the balls. So we have several teams in place that get these type of work with the courses and get these products. So those teams um, we we uh, we work with on a daily basis, and they come in on maybe on a weekly basis to drop off their balls, and we take care of them. So that's one set of resources. The other set of resources are in-house people that are actually doing the sorting, the grading, and the packaging of the products. And I have a fairly large team that does that 7 days a week, as we have orders coming in all the time. So people are always packaging and shipping out. And then I have people offshore that handle the IT aspects of my business, that handle the social media aspects of my business, and the finance and accounting.
Okay, so you've outsourced some of the help. Now, the in-house team, are those all your employees, or are they?
Yes,
Okay, so how many team members are you at for like in-house or
10,
W-2? 10?
10.
Awesome. Um, and on your team, within your team, do you see emerging leaders starting to grow on your team?
Oh, yes. And we recognize those individuals every year, right? So learning this business it takes time. It takes time to understand the different products. It takes time to understand how to grade. It takes time to understand where the products are located at in order to fulfill a package. It really requires an understanding of what the customer expectations are, right? And that takes time to learn. Once you get that all down, we don't want these individuals to leave because it takes maybe 2 to 3 years to get a real seasoned individual in place that understands the whole end-to-end process. So yes, we do have emerging leaders, and we ensure that our emerging leaders do not leave.
That is huge. I think that's a golden nugget. I want to dive in deeper on this because that's, I think, where a lot of entrepreneurs, a big part and big struggle and challenge is finding the right team members and then retaining them. So, what are some of the things you're doing currently to help support the growth of your team members as well as retention?
Well, So one of the things that makes this particular job more interesting, let's say, than another, is that we have extreme flexibility on when our employees come into work. So that all starts with how do you record their time and how do you establish? In my business, right? It doesn't matter if you come in at 8 a.m. or if you come in at 11 a.m. All right. We have a time recording process that on your phone, as soon as you get in, you click on your phone that I've started. All right. And you can work 4 hours or you can work 5 hours. I'm grateful for whatever time I get. All right. But the employee has that flexibility. They have the flexibility of anytime they want to go to lunch, right? The work still exists. All right. I will always have people here to handle orders. And if they're not here, right, my son and I can take care of the orders, right? So there's a lot of flexibility that the individuals have, right? If they want to come in at noon because they want to sleep in late every day of the week, they can do that, right? If they want to work on a Saturday or a Sunday because they have something going on a Friday, they can do that, right? So flexibility with how, when our resources come in, flexibility on when they want to work. That provides our team the ability to have a life outside of this place and to do what they want to do, right? So, and even if they did, let's say, find another job, my operation is a 7 by 24 hour operation. Um, and if they wanted to work in the evening or if they wanted to work a midnight shift, the work's here. Processing of golf balls doesn't matter what hour of the day you work. It's just as long as the job gets done.
Now, as you're going to be growing into the brick and mortar locations, do you see your team expanding, or are you looking to onboard more folks for fulfillment and for processing of the golf balls?
Absolutely. So we have a 3-year plan that shows where we need to be at each year. So, and that plan continually gets adjusted. So at the present time, we're in a fairly small warehouse facility, and the number of resources that we can bring on board at a given time really depends on at what hours do individuals want to work, right? So having enough people during that particular time. But as we grow and we add more channels, physical storefronts, and we add, let's say our plan is to have additional merchandise, have an expanded catalog that will include new merchandise. And as we add more merchandise, we're going to need a larger facility. So we're in the process of building a larger facility that's about twice the size of what we have. And as we do so and we expand those channels, we're bringing on additional resources to work those channels as well to work the expanded catalog that we'll be putting in place.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what are some of the challenges with building the new facility? That's got to be a lot more moving parts. So how are you, like, what are some of the challenges you're faced with there?
Well, that it is a challenge. And the first step is finding somebody that will build you a solid facility to your requirements and that you trust and you can move forward. So we've gone through that process and we've interviewed several builders and so on, and we have found the right person. Secondly, is then you work through the small business administration to get yourself the funding necessary to build that. And we're in the progress of doing that, and we have found the right partner in doing so. But that takes time. Uh, and once you have that, the building process takes, and you have to go through the permitting process and so on. But the fortunate thing for us is that we already have the land in place and we already know exactly where it's going to go. So it's working out well for us. So we anticipate by mid 2026, we'll be in a larger facility, we'll have additional resources, and we'll have the expanded channels in place.
Oh, that's incredible to hear. Now, keeping everything organized with the expansion, with the growth, are you implementing systems, or how are you, as the owner, co-owner, keeping everything organized and moving forward?
Well, that's a great question. So in this business, when you start out, most of the processes are fairly manual, right? So cleaning, grading, sorting, and so on. It's a fairly manual process. So you're always going to have resources in place that need to do that. But as you grow, and you have more channels that you have to support, automation is key. And we're looking at how we can implement automation. And we have a particular supplier in mind that can provide us the ability to sort a large quantity of golf balls using AI. And by just looking at the golf ball and looking at the brands, being able to sort by the brands. So as we move in that larger facility and we have the room available to do so, we'll see more of that automation coming into play.
That is super cool to hear too, because the thinking about AI, I hear it a lot in my conversations, but it's very cool to hear how it's going, especially for a physical product and organizing those. So it's really, really awesome. It sounds like the future is bright. I'm excited to see your journey grow. And now I want to dive into a fun part of the Q&A, which is our rapid fire questions.
Certainly, go ahead.
All right. Rapid fire number one is, what is the key to success for you?
The key to success is having a satisfied customer, right? And this entire business model is all based upon repeat buying. So if you can have continued repeat buyers from a yearly basis, right, you can grow your business. That's important. But also having integrity in your industry is important too, because that's how other buyers, industry buyers find you and they ask, hey, can we bring your product into our location or into our organizations and help you sell it? So having repeat buying, repeat clients, also having, the integrity in the industry. We've been in this industry for 10 years. People know who we are. When you go out to an Amazon, you go out to a Walmart, or you go out to Google, you'll see us. We stand out right out front, and they see that, hey, we've been around for quite a bit of time. So having that standing in the industry is quite important.
Oh, definitely. That is a huge key to success. Number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Well, that's key. And that's every business owner is unique, and they have their own set of circumstances that they have to evaluate. For us, it's all about managing growth. Some owners want to have immediate growth within 2 to 3 years, skyrocket, and so on. But we're in it for the long haul. And when I say we're in the long haul, I don't look at exiting this business anytime soon. So if any of my competitors are listening to this, we're in this business for the long haul, and I stay in it, and my son plans to stay in it for the long haul. So it's all about, how do you stay in it for the long haul? All right. And it's managing that growth on a yearly basis, setting goals in place that you can continue to manage and achieve progress against. So my advice to other owners, look at your circumstance, right? Determine how long do you want to be in business. If you're only looking to be in that business 5 years, your goals are going to be much more different than mine. My goal is to be in this business for the next 20 to 30 years. And as such, we are making progress against that by growing our channels, having more clients buy our products every year, having repeat buying, as well as creating more and more reviews. Reviews are so critically important, right? So growing those reviews on an annual basis and chipping away at your competitors. That's the utmost important. So for each business owner, you have to look at your own circumstance, but in ours, it's all about setting expectations and managing that growth.
Now, in what ways are you growing those reviews currently?
So that is where uh, sometimes you need to have a coach come in and help you with how you grow those reviews. There's different ways, different strategies that you can do that. Some strategies are to include a thank you letter in your product as you send it out in the package, and encouraging them to write a review by putting a carrot out there saying that maybe you participate in a lottery type system, and if you submit a review, automatically you're enrolled in that lottery. But there's different ways you can do that. You can hire somebody that can chase the customers down. But typically what we do is we will reach out to a customer, especially, if it's a customer that has bought from us previously, we'll reach out to them and we'll see if they would feel comfortable in submitting a review for us online or through our website. Now, our website probably gets the most reviews, whereas some of the other platforms, Walmart, Amazon, doesn't get as many reviews just because they get enamored. When everybody buys from Amazon, they get this message saying, please submit a review, right? But for the people that we deal with mostly a lot, we feel comfortable in reaching out to and asking for a review.
Oh, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. And I agree. A good coach can take you a long
Yeah.
way. That is so true.
Yeah.
Before we get to our final question, I have one more in our rapid fire. And this is a fun one. So if you had a magic wand and you could overnight improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
I touched on this a little bit earlier. It's about the process. So in my business is a seasonal business, and when the Masters hits in the April timeframe, you're inundated with orders. And when the U.S. Open comes in June, you're also inundated with orders. And the July 4th holiday, which we just had, you're inundated with orders. And Amazon Prime Day, you're inundated with orders. When you're inundated with orders, your resources are all focused on one thing. It's meeting the client expectation, packaging those orders and getting them out within a 24-hour period of time. All right.
Mhm.
And by doing so, you take your focus off the other areas of your business process of getting the balls in, sorting, grading, and so on. Right. So one of the areas that we, as we go forward, we're looking to improve. I mentioned automation. How can we automate some of that so that as our team gets busy, right, I don't slow down and create critical bottlenecks in other parts of the business.
Mm, that's powerful. That again is another golden nugget of this conversation. So that is amazing. Thank you for sharing this conversation with me. Before we get to our final question, how can folks get connected with you and your business online?
Online, we are at golfballmonkey.com. If you're interested in checking us out, look at golfballmonkey.com. We're also on every single social media channel. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. All right, just search for Golf Ball Monkey. We have thousands of followers on each of those platforms, and you can find out all about us. We put in this tremendous amount of effort behind making sure those channels are updated on a regular basis. So if you want to understand a little bit more about this business and see who we are and see some of the things that we're doing, I would strongly encourage those three platforms: uh, TikTok, Instagram, and golfballmonkey.com.
Amazing, Eric. Thank you for sharing that. For our final question today, what is most inspiring to you today?
Inspiring. Um, it's coming to work every single day, all right, and knowing that although it might be repetitive, it might be fairly operational, it's all about, I know it's going to be a fun day. I know that the things that we do, we're accomplishing something every day. When I worked in the IT business, you would sit down and some days say, did really accomplish anything? But I know here I'm accomplishing something every day because orders are being sent out on a daily basis. Clients are being satisfied. I have people continually asking for more product. And sometimes it's very hard to stay in inventory because your inventory is going so fast. So it inspires me to be in that type of situation.
Well, this has been an inspiring conversation, and I think our audience is going to love it. So, thank you so much, Eric, for joining me on the show today.
All right. Thank you very much.